but a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man.
NANI?!
Dynamite! I'm gonna have to extend this whole. Clap it up for Joe, baby. Clap it. Dynamite! Yeah. I want to finish this whole big school segment with this last segment, which I'm talking to the black parents now, right? I'm talking to black parents, I'm talking to brown parents, talking to the teachers, regardless of the color you are. And this is going to be important because regardless of the color you are as a teacher, you have internalized bias. I often tell black people, you have internalized biases towards your own people. This is why you don't feel comfortable spending money at their establishments, because you feel like your money could be better spent somewhere else. Even though those places you think would be better off have only conditioned you to accept what was given to you. Right? I have an unbridled level of patience with my people. It's preordained for me. Like, if I have the option and I know I can, at least I know I'm going to get a quality product, I'll give them all the benefit of the doubt. Up to until probably having sex with my girlfriend. Maybe. That's how much I love black people. I'm willing to give it to you, baby. You feel me?
Damn.
But what does this do when you're in school as a preschooler? The most basic version, right? Let's find out.
Researchers at Yale showed teachers this video clip of 4 preschool students. Their instructions: look for misbehavior and click when you see it. The study was kind of deceptive. None of the kids in the video actually misbehaved. The researchers were using eye tracking software. What they actually wanted to study was who the teachers were watching. Both black and white teachers spent significantly more time watching the black boy in the video. This study showed that even preschool teachers can treat kids differently based on their race without even realizing it. Look elsewhere in the U.S. school system.
And she'll go on to explain more about the phenomenon and why this is bad, because the school system definitely aids in it. But this is fascinating. But I also want to take this opportunity to speak to you as the parent to understand this dynamic. To understand when the teachers are calling you or your kid seems to always be the focal point of an investigation. To understand that this is how it is, and to be able to explain to your kids that they are subconsciously. And now, kids are fucking mischievous, but they don't deserve to be railroaded like this. This is something that happened to me too often in high school and even in grade school, to the extent where my parents just pulled me out of the school. It was just like, y'all can't keep his name out y'all fucking mouth. And it didn't help that I was 3 times bigger than all the normal kids. And I also had a head on my shoulder. Like, I was smart enough to be able to manipulate my way through situations. I knew I was a total asshole. But it didn't help that they had something out for me. And to be frank, if I lived in this day and age and I was in school, they would be trying to get me into the prison pipeline, which is what she's going to talk about. But I just want to put this in the mindscape of parents. Be prepared to have these very real conversations with your student, with your child's teachers and disciplinary team, because whether they know it or want to admit it or not, it's happening.
And you'll see this show up in other ways, like at this middle school in Bryan, Texas. They gave students tickets for offenses like disrupting class or using profanity. Black students were 4 times more likely than white students to receive those tickets. Nationwide, black boys miss way more school due to suspensions than any other group. And this can start a kind of chain reaction. Missing weeks of school due to suspensions makes students much more likely to drop out. Without a diploma, you're much less likely to earn a living wage and much more likely to be incarcerated. All this missing school is helping to drive the highest poverty and incarceration rates in the developed world. So it's worth asking, how'd we get here?
Oh, absolutely. I can definitely agree to that. Being one of those high energy active kids, like, I'm happy I fell into sports because that was the only thing that kept me off the radars of the other teachers. Because once I fell into sports, the other teachers found it way more difficult to incriminate me because all of a sudden I was all state champion in wrestling, and now I got the key. I got the key from the city of the mayor. I'm the first all state champion. There's nothing you can say to me. I got the key to the city. You don't get that for being nothing. And it takes a high level. It requires teaching is a woman dominated education system. And I feel a lot of that, the mannish, boyish energy that the young men give off needs to be curtailed by men, not by women. And now here's some people, oh, what do you mean? Let's shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not saying a woman teacher can't teach a man, but a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. That's just something that there's something there that doesn't happen. There's a certain level of physicality. There's a certain level of intensity. There's a certain level of hierarchy that comes with that. And it comes off very toxic. But troubled boys cannot be reared by women. They need to be reared by men that they can actually have something in common with. Because I know what it feels like to be that kid. And I'm not saying that there aren't troubled youth women, but I definitely wouldn't want to be talking to a woman about how to handle this. This is the same conversation I have with doctors who when I sit in on their consultations are always baffled why I'm sitting in on a consultation. I'm like, well, maybe because the person you're talking to doesn't feel comfortable telling you everything. Why not? I'm their doctor. And I have to look his Brady Bunch ass in the face and say, you're white. You're white as a saltine cracker, my guy. And you're talking to an 18-year-old, a 16 or 15-year-old black boy about what drugs is he on? Is he drinking or smoking? He ain't telling you shit because he don't trust your punk ass. Well, I think that's ridiculous. And that's why I'm here, motherfucker. Because you think that you deserve that. It's not earned. It's something given. So it might sound harsh, and I might have a different view on that tomorrow. But as it stands right now, I'm a firm believer in, like, troubled youth, troubled men, troubled boys need other men who have that positive energy to give them, who have already been in that dark place to be able to get them out of there. It is a great question. How did we get here? And I think another question that needs to be asked, how do we stop it? Right? How do you stop uninformed bias? How do you do it? And I think the easiest way, the gentlest way, is to straight up tell teachers the truth. But also leave it to the fact point that they need to be smart enough or it needs to be open enough to understand their bias. Teachers who get extremely defensive on this topic probably don't want to have conversations about CRT, don't want to have questions about systemic racism, which is all fine. But then you have to really ask your question, are these the teachers we want teaching our kids? So it's on you as a parent to be an advocate for your kids. Because I remember teachers saying a lot of weird, crazy shit like, oh, these parents don't know anything about their kids. They barely send them to school on time, this. They don't, all that shit's for the birds. When someone's trying to label your child as a problem, it's your job to defend them, but it's also your job to be able to understand what's real and what's not real. Yo, if somebody told me my kid was being a problem and they couldn't articulate how my kid's more of a problem than any other knucklehead, then I'm not going for it. But the nitpicking, that was one thing that always used to baffle me about my parents, at least. They wouldn't push back, but they were immigrant parents, so they just assumed that they have to be right. But turns out we need to find that out. Yeah, I have issues. We get it. Clap it. But that's just me giving y'all some message, some information. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section below. Let's get it.